that I have fears about this game, that I have worries about this game. And I stated my case, and there's a lot of Jet fans who share that fear. There are a lot of Jet fans who have cockiness or confidence. Well, that was yesterday, and I showed my vulnerability, and now it's your turn.
It's my turn now?
It's your turn, Tiki. It's Sean's turn, too, because you're the New York Giants. You're playing for your season Sunday afternoon at Jet Life Stadium.
Yes.
And that's right, yes. I just slipped it in. And you know deep down that while you may win this game because it's football, but you're nervous too. That as you get closer to Sunday at 1 o'clock, you can put the false bravado out there and oh, yeah, we're going to kick ass. This is our city. This is our town. Blah, blah, blah. I know that you're just like me. When you cut me open and they cut you open or they cut Sean open, we're all the same as sports fans. There's a moment where you start to realize, holy crap, we may lose. Holy crap, this may be bad. So, Tiki, well, tell me why you're nervous, because I know you are.
While you're confident because your defense is the best defense since 1985, you know, that Bears team that won the Super Bowl, I'm also starting to feel very confident about my Giant defense. Their blitz rate has been astronomical. Last week against the Commanders, it was 63%. 63% of the snaps they blitzed and dogged on, which is awesome, and it caused Sam Howell to melt under pressure. 6 sacks, which bested their season total in a half, basically, or actually a half plus. And so I'm not worried about the defense. I think they finally have found what they've been missing. Continuity, they're tackling well, they're getting after the quarterback, et cetera, et cetera.
So the Giants are like the 2000 Ravens. Great. Now, what worries you, Tiki?
But there is one worry here.
Give me that J-Lo butt. Go ahead.
And by the way, it's been the same worry that we started the season with, which is the offensive line. The New York Giants have started 10. Like, we're in week 7, or we're now week 8. They have started 10 different offensive linemen, which is the most in the National Football League. After last weekend's game, which I called against the Commanders, they have now started 7 different offensive line combinations. Now, if they were good and you know, not giving up the second most pressures in the National Football League, maybe I would feel okay about that. And Daniel Jones, my starting quarterback, wasn't out for however long he's going to ultimately be out, now going on week 3, because I do not think he's playing this weekend. I would not be as worried about it. But the quarterbacks have been getting killed, and the offensive line now has a new combination that is potential. So Andrew Thomas has been out since week 1. We all remember what happened. They go down the field, dominate the Dallas Cowboys on the first drive, run right into scoring position, try to kick a field goal, gets blocked, and now we're racing the other way, trying to stop the Dallas Cowboys from scoring. And on that run down to the other end zone, Andrew Thomas pulls his hamstring. And he hasn't been seen since. But he's about to come back.
Is he, though?
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. He's about to come back. And it's a good thing. Maybe. But if Andrew Thomas comes back, you know what happens? The 8th iteration of a starting offensive lineman situation happens. And what happens to Justin Pugh? And if John Michael Schmitz is back, is he playing right guard? And where is Bredesen? It creates another scenario of non-continuity with the Giants' offensive line. I'm not so worried about Tyrod Taylor if he has to start at quarterback. He's looked good. Saquon Barkley is healthy. They're starting to get a shortened rotation with this wide receiver group, and Jalen Hyatt is becoming this big play threat that everybody thought he was going to be when he was drafted this past April. So the skill I'm not worried about, right? At the quarterback I'm not worried about. This offensive line scares the crap out of me.
Especially against a jet pass rush that while they have not put up a lot of sacks this season, they can get to the quarterback. Yeah. Bryce Huff can get to the quarterback. Quincy Williams can get to the quarterback. Jermaine Johnson can get to the quarterback. Quinnen Williams up the middle can get to the quarterback. So I think your fear is well-founded.
It is.
It's a well-founded fear.
Bryce Huff. And they're not talking enough about him.
By the way, you're right, and that's why I purposely mentioned him first.
He has a pressure rate that Micah Parsons can't even touch right now.
About that?
Micah Parsons is at 22% pressure rate.
Where's my guy Bryce at?
31.
31.
31. 31. It's the highest in the last 2 years.
See, I didn't even know that.
I'm not even talking about like Nick. I'm talking about Nick Bosa's of the world.
No, I get you.
And the Micah Parsons of the world. Bryce Huff, who doesn't play every down. He's mostly third and fourth down. You're starting to see him a little bit more in second down, though, now, according to the stats and film study. But this kid is amazing at getting pressure on quarterbacks.
He is.
So when you're going to throw in a new combination for the New York Giants, potentially, with Andrew Thomas coming back, it makes me feel even more concerned. And the reason is because finally, like the last 2 weeks, we finally have started to see some stability with the pressure rate for for the New York Giants. You don't feel like Tyrod Taylor these last couple of weeks is threatened to the point of fear he's going to get hurt. It's felt stable. But the thing that scares me is a new combination of offensive line and Andrew Thomas, who hasn't put a helmet on until yesterday, since week one. Mm-hmm. He had a helmet on week one. He didn't put a helmet on again until yesterday. It just worries me that they are vulnerable all over again to our quarterback and to our playmaking ability. So that's my biggest concern. I know yours was Zach Wilson.
No, I guess
it's different. For me, it's been the issue that's been an issue all season long.
See, I needed this. I need to – it's not drinking your tears because you're not crying. I need to smell your fear. I need to feel the giant fear because here's the thing. I'm surrounded by a calm, kind of like, I'm good, Tiki Barber, and I'm surrounded by an irrational, cocky Sean Morash. And I know that most Giant fans listening to our voices right now, you're scared. And I understand why. You're fearful, and I understand why.
It's a different kind of scared. It's because of what I explained to you yesterday about that bar that you guys threw up there with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, and then when all of a sudden you just shrunk a little bit because of your quarterback situation, you can't reach that bar anymore, and you're like desperate to reach the bar. You keep jumping. The Giants bar was never that high.
Don't play this bar game with me.
I'm just telling you.
You know, you also told me, like, early on after Aaron got hurt, stop talking about Aaron Rodgers, stop bringing up Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
And I wrote it down. Because sometimes you got to write stuff down to remind yourself not to do certain things.
So you haven't talked about Aaron Rodgers.
And I haven't talked about Aaron Rodgers, and here you are bringing him up.
I'm talking about the bar that Aaron Rodgers set.
That was a long time ago.
Yes, but most Jet fans still have this belief that you can get there.
No, we don't. To get to the Super Bowl?
Just to get to a high level of competition. And the only way you're getting there is if Zach starts playing better. Or as Nate said, we got to be better in the third down. We got to be better in the red zone because they are literally last.
No, he's 100% right.
So, but the Giant bar was never that high. I know they won a playoff game last year, and it was exciting as hell to go to Minnesota and do what they did and win it on the last second. You know, with Kirk Cousins throwing that stupid 5-yard or 3-yard pass on 4th and 6 or whatever it was. So I get it, but that was an overachievement. The team is still not where it needs to be, so the bar was lower. Honestly, I feel like the Giants have a better chance of reaching their bar than the Jets do.
Well, it depends what you want to make the freaking bar. Here's all I know. The Giants have to win a game on Sunday. If they don't, their season's likely over. I know the Jets need to win a game on Sunday because if they don't, it'll be impossible to trust them again, and we'll all lose our dignity. But I do appreciate hearing your fears and hearing the Giant fan fears because I know they exist. It isn't just me as a Jet fan scared of my own shadow. I know you all have it. And Mr. Cocky over there, Sean, is it now time to come clean that you're worried?
No. 8 points wins this game. How could I be worried?
Now, Sean, here's what I know about you.
Oh, that's great.
I've seen your videos
you
at
might
halftime.
Not be wrong, by the way.
Yeah, it may not be. It's one thing you may be right about. I've seen your videos at halftime. I've seen your videos post-game.
Holy God!
Our season's over. We don't have a football season. I know deep in your soul, and I'm going to get it out of you because I know it's there, that you are a little afraid of Sunday afternoon because you know not only what it means for you selfishly and the beating you take, but more than that, you know the season is on the line. You know you're in Jet Life Stadium. You know.
Stop with the Jet Life thing.
I'm sorry, that's where they're playing on Sunday.
And by the way,
you're not even home.
We've even graduated to maturity levels. We don't even call it Giant Stadium anymore. It's MetLife Stadium.
I might
and by the way, the place is such a dump. You want to claim it? Claim it.
That's a good point. But Sean, come claim. You're worried.
I mean, define worry.
You're worried.
Team stinks. Everything stinks.
I mean,
Where's that Sean Morash? Because I know it's deep down there.
Why are you calm all of a sudden?
Because here, and you know why
things
I know
have changed.
this? You know what I know, Tiki? Sean and I are very similar. And I know that's almost embarrassing for me to admit. But as sports fans, we are. You know, I am a nervous wreck. Nets are up 6, a minute and a half to go. I knew what was coming.
I'm a loser.
I knew. And I know that Sean, while he may put that act on of being cocky and confident, I know deep down you feel that the pain will be coming. So come clean. How worried are you? Let's go.
I mean, there's always a little bit of worry, like a little bit. Here's the thing. I know the Giants aren't very good.
Here we go. It's coming.
No. I think I've been consistent on that. In fact, I've picked them to lose how many times when we've come to the pick segment? I think I've been very, very fair. My confidence, I would argue, doesn't even come from the Giants, and it comes more from I've seen this Jet game 100 times. Like, this could be the Raiders they're playing Sunday off this bye, and it just feels aligned. That's where my confidence comes from. But, am I worried? Like Tiki said, am I worried that in the first quarter, it looks like Micah Parsons is wreaking havoc and Glowinski stinks again, and then the Giants have a kick blocked, or they fumble a punt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all those things are on the table.
Yeah, there we go.
They're on the table.
Here we go. I feel it now.
Am I worried that I'm going to be walking out of my seat to chants of more ass sucks to fans dressed in green? Yeah, I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried. I would even be honest with you. There's a part of me that's a little, I would say, uneasy about the fact that I wish I didn't have tickets to the game Sunday.
Excuse me? You went from...
Yeah, I mean...
Now you don't even want to go?
Why do you not want to be there?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, I know.
Don't you want to see the victory?
Of course. And that's my expectation, and it's going to feel glorious. But, there's things out of my control. If, whoever the new punt returner is, Olshinsky, Olinsky, if he muffs a punt, or if Sauce Gardner takes a pick six to the house and that's how the game's decided, it's a tough walkout. By the way, 3 hours back to Long Island, tough ride home.
You know what I'm hearing, Evan?
Yeah, fear.
Yes, fear, but different. So I'm giving you the football reasons.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, this Giant offensive line they've struggled this year, and there might be a new combination. Mm-hmm. And while I'm not worried about the defense because it looks like Wink's got them playing at a high level right now, I'm not worried because the run game because Saquon's back healthy. You got Jalen Hyatt making some big plays. He had seven explosive 20-plus plays last weekend against the Commanders. So but the offensive line worries me, right? He's talking about himself.
Of course I'm talking about myself.
He's talking about how he's going to get treated
because
on the bus. Probably on the bus. You'll probably be fine on the bus there.
I'm still hoping it's mainly Giant fans.
On the bus there? From the island, dude?
It's a Long Island bar. It's a Giant home game.
What do you say now, you fatty?
I mean, but it's
let's all have a beer and get along.
Giant Jet game. You know, the Giant Jet game historically has always been about the fights in the stands, right?
It's
always been about that. Going back to 70, whatever it was, 69. It's always been about the fights.
I'm telling any drunk, angry Jet fan right now, I'm a keyboard warrior. I'm not a fighter. So it ain't going to happen here, pal. But I'm worried about that.
You'll be fine going there. You're worried about the beer getting dumped on you in the stands. You're getting about the nachos getting put down the back of your pants as you're walking out of the stands.
Or like a wedgie. I don't want a wedgie.
and then the ride home.
But the problem, Tiki, ultimately is this. As confident as I am, and I think this is the recipe for the most prototypical Jet loss ever, it's football. And it's any given Sunday. And nobody's going to have time for a diatribe from me in the parking lot after when I'm like, well, if this went right and this went right, like I could do here. It's going to be, you suck, you fat ass, and I don't want to deal with that for the rest of my home.
You're right that this sets up for that Jet prototypical letdown loss. And I laid that out a little bit yesterday about the prosperity that they've had in the Saleh era and how they haven't been able to handle it. And I'll give you that. But outside of the blip on the radar year that was last year, you've kind of been in that same spot. Like, the Giants haven't been good for a long time. And I think that's the part of me that wonders how there can be such confidence.
The playoffs last year.
I just said.
But how can you say for a long time?
Well, because I admit that, yes, they had success last year.
Consistently for a long time, I think is what he's saying.
Consistently, they've been pretty lousy. You've gone through coaches like you're the Jets. So it does surprise me that while I understand looking at us and saying, they're the Jets, they'll find a way, so have you. And I would be fearful of going to that stadium because as someone that goes to a lot of games, my biggest fear of Mets-Yankees, my biggest fear of Knicks-Nets is the walkout. My biggest fear is that if I lose, if I suffer some kind of brutal loss, I got to deal with my enemy. Because whether it's 60-40 Tiki or it's 70-30 or it's 50-50, however you line it up, that's a crap ton of Jet fans in your building. And they're going to be loud. And from a football standpoint, like Tiki laid out, and you know this, even if you think the Jets are an average team, even if you think we're overrating what they've accomplished against Philadelphia and keeping a game close against Kansas City, even if you think that, you're still the Giants. You're still 2-5. You still had a game that you should have won by 3 scores last week that you didn't. You still have a backup quarterback that you're not even sold on starting. You still have your 505th offensive line combination out there. Like, all of that still exists. So deep in your mind and your soul, whether it's football reasons like Tiki laid out or it's your fandom reasons, you damn well should be worried Sunday afternoon.
I'm worried. Brian Daboll has yet to lose to a bad football team, and last week proved that. And that's my only worry, is that he finally loses to a bad football team. You can't call the
Jets a bad football team.
You lost to the Patriots, Evan? I absolutely can.
You cannot, you can say a lot of things about this team.
Evan.
You can say the bar is not as high as it was. You can say I don't trust them. You cannot. Calling them a bad football team is football lie.
Yeah,
and you know
but I'm calling my team a bad football team.
But what he's alluding to is the fact that the Giants are the only team in the NFL, that have played 5 playoff teams from a year ago. Now, they've lost all 5 of them, but the teams that they weren't in the playoffs, the Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Commanders, they've beaten.
They beat.
Right? Now, it's not much better for the Jets, by the way.
I know. They played the 2 teams in the Super Bowl last
not
year.
only that, but 4 of your 6 opponents had 12-plus wins.
Right.
4.
I know.
I mean, the Giants and the Jets, Sean, you said this 3 weeks ago. The schedule makers screwed us. Screwed us badly at the beginning of the seasons. Now, that sets up, though, and the problem is that we're both in the same category. It sets up an easier back end of the schedule.
Tiki, can I ask you a question, though?
Yes.
Because
even though I don't know what that means anymore, because the NFL is so
right. It's up and down.
Up and down.
You're right. Sean brings something up about what the Giants have accomplished in the Brian Daboll era. He said they have not lost to a bad team. Now, I throw out, the Jets are not a bad team. I mean, that's a ridiculous statement to even make.
Can I say blah team?
He's just saying they didn't make the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's all.
okay. How about I'll just change the word bad to blah.
Okay.
They lose the blah team.
If you want to say they're an average team, okay, I get it. Look, their offense stinks. They don't score enough points. They have a really good – that's fine. But what impresses you more? A team that can lose to anybody but can play with anybody, or the opposite, which is what you've described the Giants as,
well, that
which
means
is a team
more
that
consistent.
can't hang with good teams, but usually they take care of business against bad teams.
I mean, by the way, they hung with the Bills, so calm down. And it's about consistency. Evan, you guys
didn't hang with the Dallas Cowboys. You didn't hang with the San Francisco 49ers.
Early.
And you didn't hang with the Eagles last year in the postseason.
It was early. It was early. Those were part of the 3 games in 11 days. It was on the road.
And by the way, the
Stayed
Giants
out the
hung
West
with
Coast.
the Cowboys both times last year. Evan, let's be real. But Evan, let's just be real. And this is I think Giant fans are acknowledging we're not very good. We understand where we lie versus some of these other, we'll call them peer tier teams. Turns out the Seahawks not our peer tier. These other teams are. You know, Evan, no offense, you guys basically want to put a banner in MetLife that says 2023 lost a close game to the Chiefs.
No,
we don't do
beat
that.
the Philadelphia Eagles. Beat the Philadelphia Eagles. It has to impress you.
Which is a huge win.
Of course it is.
All the wins have come from behind. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty, it's competitive. You give them credit.
And you give them credit. But you know what? We don't lose to a team like the New England Patriots, which is why I'm confident this week.
I had 5 minutes of him being nervous. Tiki, I got 5 minutes.
I'm still nervous, but I'm giving you the reality.
I got 5
Well, you
minutes.
know why? It's because you pushed him.
I know.
That's your fault.
I know.
You might have got some humility out of him if you had just let it lay.
Maybe I'm dead wrong about this. I don't think I am. I think most Giant fans are nervous for Sunday.
Yeah.
I think most Giant fans almost expect doom on Sunday. I don't think most Giant fans have this confidence of, well, we're playing the Jets. We'll find a way. I think you're an outlier. We'll hear from Giant fans throughout the show, 877-337-6666. And obviously around the Jets angle of it, too, because they need a win. They both need wins. It's a huge, huge Sunday. It's also a rare Sunday. It's one of the rarest Jet Sundays we've seen in a long time. We'll explain it coming up. And, of course, your calls, 877-337-6666.